Hey guys, Gons here for the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel. I wanted to put together another transhumanist agenda video, and on this one, I want to talk about an article that was published on the IEET.org website. That's the Institute for Ethics and Emerging Technologies website. Visit the website often, guys. Check it out. Check out what people are saying, the progressive thinkers, etc., are saying about the future of humanity. Before we do, though, I wanted to make a correction from another video I made and also give my opinion about Rise of the Secret Soldiers. The correction that I wanted to make real quick is that in the video that I talk about lab rats as the transhumanist agenda, I say that it's the beginning of season 4. Well, actually, as many have pointed out, it's episodes 21 and 22 of season 3. So my bad, I had a faulty source on that, but overall, I don't think it really changes the agenda of what's going on there. In terms of Rise of the Secret Soldiers, I thought it was a pretty good hour-long episode. I won't really take too long to explain this, but there are a few different themes here. One, there's the theme of sacrifice for the greater good of humanity, where Donald Davenport gets hurt and the episode ends with him in the hospital. We don't know exactly what happens, but it looks like he's going to be okay. And the other part is in order to defeat the bad guy Crane, who's trying to basically use satellites to control the entire world with his bionic technology, he gets defeated by the three main characters, Chase, Adam, and Bree. And the way they do it is they fuse their abilities. And the way it has to be done is explained by Douglas Davenport, which is used to be a bad guy, now he's a good guy. He's the uncle of Leo and the whole family. He tells them basically to stand back to back and to merge the energies. They have to form a triangle, and so they do, and they have this energy blast, and they defeat Crane, and yay, all is good. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that briefly in the previews for the following episodes, and I believe there's a few more for season 3, they showed these new soldiers sort of being integrated into the storyline and perhaps even performing healings. So this leads right into some of the things that I want to talk about in terms of this article called The End of Religion, Technology and the Future by John G. Messerly. Now, when I was reading this thing reads like Genesis 3, the serpent. It just sounds like the serpent speaking. Okay, I'm going to read some of the quotes and then I'll respond. It says here, quote, "If we survive and science progresses, we will manipulate the genome, rearrange the atom, and augment the mind. And if science defeats suffering and death, religion as we know it will die. Without suffering and death, religion will have lost its raison d'etre. For who will pray for heavenly cures when the cures already exist on earth? Who will die hoping for a reprieve from the gods when science offers immortality? With the defeat of death, science and technology will have finally triumphed over superstition. Our descendants will know once and for all that they are stronger than imaginary gods." Well, first off, in response to what he said so far, it's interesting that he wants to eliminate religion when really what he's promoting with this science and technology, that itself is a religion. It's talking about conquering death. It's talking about this sort of redemptive property of humankind. This is a religion, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you like it or not, it is a religion. It's the humanitarian religion based on science and technology. It's everything I've talked about with Age of Deceit, Alchemy, and the Rise of the Beast Image. It's the same principle applied now to the types of technologies and sciences that are emerging. Let me continue. Quote, "As they continue to evolve, our post-human progeny will become increasingly godlike." Okay, hold on. So our descendants are going to be stronger than imaginary gods, yet they're going to be godlike. Okay, let me go on. Quote, "They will overcome human physical and psychological limitations and achieve superintelligence either by modifying their brains or interfacing with computers. While we can't know this for sure, what we do know is that the future will not be like the past. For our perspective, if science and technology continue to progress, our offspring will come to resemble us about as much as we do the amino acids from which we sprang." You know, it's interesting when you hear stuff like this, it's like, okay, where's the intrinsic value here? Interestingly, Dr. Messerly here, who has a doctorate in philosophy, he should know this, or he should at least contemplate this. He has intrinsic value and purpose and meaning in life. Where is he getting that from? Where is he deriving that from? What moral standard is he basing such things off of? You know, there's a book by Francis Beckworth and Greg Kokel called Relativism, Feet Firmly Planted in Midair. And basically the argument here is that if you don't have a foundational moral basis, then everything that you tout is sort of a delusion. It's like, oh, okay, I have meaning and purpose. I ascribe my own meaning and purpose. Well, that in itself becomes kind of a deception and a delusion in it of itself without an external transcendent God, or at least, at the very least, a transcendent reality that is speaking into our lives, our minds. Then what he's touting here is sort of contradictory. The thinking here is just amazing to me. So let me continue reading on here. Quote, as our descendants distance themselves from their past, they will lose interest in the gods. Such primitive ideas may even be unthinkable to them. Today the gods are impotent. Tomorrow they'll be irrelevant. You may doubt this, but do you really think that in 1,000 or 1,000,000 years, your descendants traveling through an infinite cosmos with augmented minds will find their answers in ancient scriptures? Do you really think that powerful superintelligence will cling to the primitive mythologies that once satisfied ape-like brains? Only the credulous can believe such things. In the future, gods will exist only if we become them. Genesis 3, ye shall be as gods. It sounds to me like Dr. Messerly is promoting the Luciferian Doctrine. I digress. He goes on here, he says some other things about how some sort of combination of neo-Luddites and political conservatism and persecution of science, and it's all going to bring about this new dark age of minimal technology and political repression. Well, I mean, honestly, I really don't think that's the case. I mean, look at us now. We are using technology. Technology can be used for the good, but there is a boundary, I think, that can be crossed, and I think it has something to do with, first off, kinds, right? God said that he made each after its own kind, so when we start mixing kinds, then we're doing something similar to what happened before Noah's flood, with the Nephilim, the sons of God meeting with the daughters of men, all the mythologies that speak into these hybrid creatures. This is where we're at. We're in the days of Noah, and folks like Dr. Messerly are at the forefront of this. But this is where it gets really antagonistic towards religion. Now, here's the deal with a lot of these transhumanist people, okay? I respect their opinion. I respect that they are smart individuals. They are smart people. But the hostility they have towards religion is really, really interesting. It is the spirit of Antichrist. To the definition, you don't even have to believe in God, and you can understand or believe the Bible, and you can see how it's an anti-Christ philosophy. Let me read you this here. Quote, but must we relinquish religious beliefs now before science defeats death, before we become godlike? We may eventually outgrow religious beliefs, but why not allow their comforts to those who still need them? If parents lose a child or children lose a parent, what's wrong with telling them they'll be reunited in heaven? I am sympathetic with noble lies. Sometimes they are justified. If a belief helps you and doesn't hurt others, it is hard to gainsay. Okay, so if it's a noble lie, that's okay. So now Dr. Messerly is promoting telling lies. Very good. There's more to this article, and you guys can read through this, but let me read one more paragraph here. It blows my mind. He says, quote, still, religious consolation has a price. Religion and conservative philosophies in general typically opposes intellectual, technological, and moral progress. Really? Are you serious? Some of the smartest people that I've seen are Christian philosophers. Rather than opposing intellectualism, I actually think they display it quite well. And technological and moral progress, okay, the technological progress, I don't think we oppose it. I think we, as a church, blindly sort of accept a lot of it, so I don't know what he's looking at. And again, with moral progress, how is he determining his morality? I want to know. I really would like to hear Dr. Messerly's answer to this. He continues, quote, religion has fought against free speech. What? Democracy? Are you kidding me? The eradication of slavery, sex education, reproductive technologies, stem cell research, women's and civil rights, and the advancement of science. Okay, that's a little bit of a straw man, okay? I don't think Dr. Messerly has all his history in line. I'm not going to go through it all here. You guys can look it up. But this is a sweeping generalization. It's completely uncalled for. He continues, quote, "It has been aligned with inquisitions, war, human sacrifice, torture, despotism, child abuse, intolerance, fascism, and genocide. It displays a fondness for the supernatural, authoritarian, misogynist, hierarchical, anti-democratic, anti-intellectual, anti-scientific, and anti-progressive. Religion has caused an untold amount of misery." Wow. Really? Here's the deal. Dr. Messerly completely ignores the fact that a majority of the things that have happened here, the authoritarian, the misogynistic, the hierarchical, the anti-democratic, anti-intellectual, anti-scientific, anti-progressive, untold amounts of misery in the 20th century was by the atheistic philosophy. Okay? And there is abundant evidence to suggest this. I'm not just making this stuff up. This is actual fact. More people were killed in the 20th century from what seemed to be atheistic regimes. Separation of church and state, right? Well, the state that doesn't really have any kind of religious backing. I mean, look at Stalin. He killed how many millions of his own people? And what, did he have any kind of religious purpose for that? No. In fact, he was an atheist. So the thinking here is just completely flawed. It is anti-Christian is what Dr. Messerly is here. And, you know, I'm sorry I'm getting really passionate here, but this is really where the divide is. He wants to eradicate religion altogether, and this is where things are headed. What about the church that's out there doing missions, clothing the poor, feeding the hungry? What about them? I'm okay with lies. I'm okay with lies if it doesn't harm anybody. Well, I think, Dr. Messerly, you are telling lies. I think this thinking is very dangerous, not just for the church. And this is why I think the church needs to wake up, because the transhumanist philosophy is a religion. This is a religion, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't have, you know, a holy book or anything like that, but there's a lot of thinkers that think like this that are trying to eliminate religion. And this is going to be an interesting thing that unfolds here in the next few decades, I think, next few years, next few decades, because he goes after, you know, the Pope and the Catholics and all this stuff. And there was another article alongside this one that talks about death with dignity versus redemptive suffering. You know, the whole thing with Brittany Maynard and how she came out and she had a brain thing, so she wanted to just commit suicide. And, you know, it's called death with dignity. And there's this whole idea. And this article attacks the Catholic Church because they've put in jurisdictions to prevent self-assisted death and stuff like that. And it's called redemptive suffering is what they labeled it as. So Christians here are stuck in the middle here, kind of thinking, okay, wait a minute. You know, we don't necessarily support the Catholic Church in terms of everything they do, yet I don't think it's necessarily okay to assist someone in death. But that's a whole nother article. Maybe I'll make another video about that. But right now, I just want to get through this whole thing here. Now, I've gone long enough here, but let me just, one more paragraph. I said that with the last paragraph, but I can't help myself. Here it is. Quote, "What is our role in this story? We are the protagonists of the evolutionary epic. Determining its course is our destiny. We should willingly embrace our role as agents of evolutionary change, helping evolution to realize new possibilities. We are not an end, but a beginning. We are as links in a chain leading upward to higher forms of being and consciousness. This is our hope. This gives our lives meaning." There you go. He is deriving his meaning from what sounds to me like the same line that was told in the garden. Not just that, but this, what he said here, sounds a lot like all the New Age stuff where people get channeled entities and aliens from Zeta Reticuli, and they're told the same thing. Oh, we are going to evolve into a new being. Guys, this is the doctrine of demons. 1 Timothy 4:1. "Now the Spirit expressly says that in later times some will depart from the faith by devoting themselves to deceitful spirits and teachings of demons." King James Bible, doctrines of demons. This is what's happening. This is the spirit behind Dr. Messerly's thinking. All right, I'm done with my rant. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless.